Hey, what's good, my fellow masters? The official notice of the pre-release campaign for the upcoming Tam Lin Cup event has been posted, and there are some goodies to be gained. So here's a brief overview of the campaign. This pre-release will go from October 31st, 2100 PDT to November 7th, 1959 PST, and we can expect the actual event to start early November. Now, back on JP, Tam Lin Cup started just as the pre-release period ended, so I think we're looking at November 8th, 0000 hours PST as the start date for the event, after a server maintenance. Now, as a reminder, the participation requirement for Tam Lin Cup is to have cleared Lost Belt 6 Avalon Lefay, but that is only in order to access the main quest of the event. The other parts of the event, like the exhibition quests and free quests, are open to those that have cleared for Yuki. For this pre-release campaign, we will get a 7-day login bonus that provides a total of 7 golden apples. There will also be some limited master missions as well. Complete any of the available advanced quests 3 times, and you will obtain 5 3-star HP foes, 5 3-star attack foes, and 3 mil in QP. For the duration of this campaign, all of the Ember Gathering quests and Training Ground quests will be unlocked. I suppose, just in case you needed resources to do any last-minute servant leveling to prep for the event. And if you had any rank up or servant interludes to do, this pre-release campaign period would be the time to finish them up, as AP will be half the cost for both types of quests. We also can't forget about the ongoing related social media campaign. I actually didn't realize this was posted yesterday, but regardless, 6 quartz will be awarded to everyone if we can reach 25,000 combined Facebook and Twitter reaction, likes, and reposts. Still no indication if NA will have a broadcast stream, but if the event does start on the 8th, then there is still some time for an announcement to go up in the next few days or so. Then there is the Pickup Summon banner that comes with this pre-release campaign. It features the limited SSR Berserker Morgan, and effectively signals the beginning of a string of Lost Belt 6 servants that will be on raid up over the next couple of months. If you don't have this queen that personifies the term cool beauty, then definitely consider rolling for her, as she's a very good unit possessing quite a robust kit. She has the ability to charge her NP gauge up to 50% from a combined 30% self-charge and a separate targetable 20% charge. She has utility in multi-core farming setups with a party-wide attack, NP regen buff, and that aforementioned targetable NP battery. Morgan's capable of supplying herself with crit stars and actually using them with a star absorb buff, something that's sorely needed on berserkers given their naturally low star weight. And to offset her berserker squishiness, Morgan has a guts with a revive of 3k HP. But it's probably her NP that really makes her stand out among other AoE berserkers. It has a couple of modifiers: increased damage against servants with the trait Roundtable Knight or Fae, and an overcharge effect of extra damage against enemies with the Man attribute. Then there's the effect of overcharging the party's NP by 1 stage. This can be really beneficial in multi-core farming setups, but also in certain stall teams to tackle high difficulty quests. Morgan can effectively be a foundation piece to one's roster. She can be used to 3-turn farm with Double Coin Skya, or Morgan can be teamed up with Merlin and Castoria to form a so-called invincible team setup that should enable one to clear most challenge quests. So if you're looking to add an AoE berserker to your roster, then I do think rolling for Morgan is worthwhile. However, if you have a servant that's a higher priority to you, then fortunately, we know Morgan will have another banner next September, so there will be another opportunity to roll for her in the future. Oh, and if you are on the fence about whether to try for Morgan or wait for the upcoming Castoria, then my recommendation would be to prioritize Castoria. Also on raid up with Morgan is the limited 5-star CE Valentine Witches. This was an event CE from earlier this year and features a much softer looking Morgan and Balva Sith in cute colorful witch outfits, seemingly showering you in Valentine's chocolates. It has a nice combination of effects, providing ignore invincibility, an NP damage increase of 20%, and a 5% boost to NP generation, plus all attack scaling. If max limit broken, the NP damage and NP generation increase become 25 and 10% respectively. Switching over back to the Singularity Repair Support Campaign that's currently ongoing, the expected new interlude for Jeanne Alter was released, so make sure to clear that before the special unlock condition of her interlude ends. Additionally, there was a notification the second Singularity banner for the Repair Support Campaign will drop on October 31st. Featured on this banner are the permanent 5-star units Altera and Waver, the permanent 4-stars Seno and Tomamocat, and the permanent 3-stars Alexander and Boudica. As you can see from this lineup, not that enticing. Unless, of course, you're brand new to FGO and may be wondering about these servants. So first up is the SSR Saber Altera. This somewhat stoic looking but cute waifu is the ultimate arbiter of civilization, whether they're good or bad. And for civilizations not to her liking, they get to taste her AoE Buster NP. Now, Altera has received a couple of skill upgrades from rank ups, with the most recent giving Altera a bit of boost to her crit damage, plus a much needed 30% NP battery that allows her to fit in with the double coin Skya Oberon system with the right craft essence equipped. I also like that Altera has the ability to remove all enemies' defensive buffs, something quite nice to have, and that's on top of a party-wide NP damage increase, this courtesy of the other skill rank up. As for her NP, it does just straight damage with no other effects, except for the overcharge which debuffs all the enemy's defense for a few turns, and damage-wise it generally falls around the middle of the pack among other SSR AoE sabers. Now, if you happen to be looking for your very first SSR AoE saber, I'd say Altera can be solid when factoring in all of her upgrades. However, with Morgan being an option at the same time, I'd say Morgan is a far more compelling unit to roll for. And as I always mention, permanent SSRs like Altera are always on a banner come each February. The other SSR featured is the caster class Waver. This president of Iskandar's fan club is a support type unit, and a very good one at that. Back in the day, Waver was basically a permanent member of any team. He has a nice combination of skill effects, a party-wide attack buff, flat damage buff, defense buff, and damage cut, along with a targetable critical damage increase for one ally. Additionally, the party's NP gauge was charged by 20%, and the ally who receives that crit buff gains another 30% NP charge. So, Waver was in effect the first support unit capable of providing a 50% NP charge, obviously quite useful for farming. His NP, on the other hand, worked well for stalling, being able to reduce all targets' NP gauge by 1 tick, reduce their defense, inflict a curse effect, on top of a chance to stun from the overcharge. For masters that have been playing for a while, Waver is probably not used very much, likely replaced with newer support units. But for those that are really new to the game, Waver can be an indispensable support servant to have. But now is not the time to roll for him. There are 3 support servants coming up in December that should be a higher priority, with my overall recommendation going to Castoria. Waver being in the permanent summoning pool, he may spook you one day. Otherwise, there is always the Chaldea Boys collection banner each March that he will be on. He will also have banners in November 2025 and July-ish 2026. For this second Singularity banner, Altera will be on rate up starting on the 31st to November 2nd, and then Waver's turn is from the 2nd to November 4th. The 2 SRs on rate up along with them are the single target Buster Assassin Seno and the AoE Quick Berserker Tomamocat. Neither are units worthwhile to target specifically, though both are not without their uses. Seno essentially has an anti-male niche with a couple of ways to charm a male target, along with a pretty strong NP instant kill effect towards a male target. But instant kill is relatively unreliable, so if that fails, then her NP simply has one of those charm effects mentioned and debuffs their defense. So it's basically all or nothing for Seno's NP, which can make other single target SR assassins more appealing to use. Tomamocat kind of suffers from a similar usability issue with her NP. It has a demerit effect of stunning herself for 2 turns, and while one of her skill upgrades gives Tomamocat debuff immunity to negate that NP demerit effect, it only lasts for 1 turn. So consecutive turns of using her NP become impossible without some specific support assistance to counter that stun demerit. So at that point, it just becomes easier to use another AoE SR Berserker like Lancelot. Of course, there are ways to make both Zeno and Tamamo Cat work. Finding those ways can even be a fun exercise. But ultimately what I'm trying to say is, unless either are waifus to you, then let them come as a spook if you don't already have them. That said, Zeno will have another raid up in the future around July 2025, give or take a month. As for Tamamo Cat, she does not have any future banners scheduled for the time being. Closing things off for this second Singularity banner, we have the two 3-star servants, Riders Alexander and Boudica. You can obtain either of them from the Friend Point Gacha, so if you don't already have them, you will eventually, even if you don't roll on this particular banner. And that's it for this little combo coverage of the Tam Lin Cup pre-release campaign and the small update to the Singularity Repair Support Campaign. If anyone is going to roll for Morgan, then may you have fantastic luck. Let me know in the comments how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to hit that like button, as it really does help out the channel. Cheers, everyone.